Greetings everyone, please come on to make sure everything's set on up. Need to turn live chat windows. Okay, that's all good. Give me a moment to check my other computer. Oh wait, still need to look up over here. That appears to be good. And looks like everything's good to go. So let's go and get started. Greetings everyone, and Garrett here with another Advanced Wars by Web or Days Ruin Tiny Wars. Or wait, actually didn't. I'm way out of it. Why did I start recording before I even started the game? Oh, I am hitting all the wrong buttons. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side as the purple Judy. We got Lionel Parks. Spawn on the north side as the red Lee. We got Commander Lucille. When it comes to the COs, Lee is of course a custom CO, standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 36-60. All units get additional +10/+10 and +1 movement if they start their turn within the CO zone. Wesley Park got a nice simple +2 movement, so he's basically Adder. For Judy's of course another custom CO, has reduced boarding cost of 30%, 3 radius, 0 expansion, 0 energy. No power superpower, just has a simple +20% offense, +10% defense, and you get 30% salvage upon from units or units from the CO zone deals damage. Howdy. So let's go and get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, with of course HQs in center along the comm towers. My apologies for my drink open up. Of course, it's just the initial game, so just infantry. Double infantry there. Bike infantry. Bike and double infantry there. 6,000 funds. Oh, goes for an early CO bike there, allowing the +1 movement range to get to this city there. However, none of these units nearby can actually make his CO zone, so next turn he will have no support with that. But the following turn, as stuff start moving into the CO zone, they'll of course be able to boost off. Bike, infantry, and bike. Oh, whoa! I guess they can naturally reach it either way. But that's pretty far forward. I was not expecting that. So he's using the CO zone to blitz his way forward to this city here. I doubt, is it going to do something more stupid and go say straight to this comm tower? Not necessarily stupid but crazy. In this case it would be a bad call. Tank infantry and commits a base skip. Captures that city there. Right now it's 15 versus 11,000 income. 1, 2, 3, 4 properties being captured, so it'll be 15-15 approximately. Or no, that's also here, so 16-15. Judy does see the tank there, quite understandable. While she doesn't have to worry about power or superpower, she still wants to be loaded with a relatively strong unit to get the salvage herself, so she can pick over the carcasses herself. Does get trapped there. Goes straight there. Does spot the infantry unit there, so she will, or he will, receive a first strike. However, there's infantry ready to provide some fire support. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. Judy's at 17,000 income. Does get trapped there. Interrupts the capture. Does get a shot there, and this time would not be reached there, so realize, I could be hit from here. Might as well not take a shot right here. This spot is equal to this spot. Tank, flare, and artillery. Lee has 18,000 income, so he can deploy a fighter if he so chooses. It's probably not a good idea though. 10 energies for Lee. Does make a pick there, try and flip the city. This city will be captured next turn. Tank rotating the center. Judy's tank is in range of this tank, but Paul needs a bit of a spotter. And there's a reinforcing tank there, so that won't be a great engagement if she does take that shot. Gets a hit there, double taps the infantry unit, knocks it out, and tank onto the city there. Puts a good round of the bike, spots the CO bike. Nothing will feel content with the tank, not even really the infantry. There's not a whole lot of infantry left in this region. Judy's CO tank does get right there, could be spotted. Infantry took the wrong path to spot it. Picks off that unit there. Tank hits infantry unit there. Spots the CO tank a little bit too late. And start capturing up that property now. Does take a first strike there on the Judy's tank. Giving him 13 energy. Needs reinforcement here. Battle copter seems pretty good. There's no anti-air yet on the field. Tank, and artillery. I saw anti-air. Must be going crazy. Oh, no, yeah, there's the anti-air here on the battlecopter side. Battlecopter ruffling its way forward. Does get trapped there, hits the infantry unit. Tank, infantry, battlecopter, and anti-air, so double battlecopter. Tank hits tank. Judy's command tank does go down. May see a bit of a merge there. Does not. Got 3743 energy now. The artillery does get spotted last moment, so this 5 health tank will probably be shelled. But that will probably be... there's also a battlecopter nearby. And don't think Judy will be able to spot this anti-air, especially since it's in the forest. Not sure if she saw it earlier. Flare, tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Judy seals the battlecopter. Artillery gets a good strike there and there. Puts one health infantry in the way. However, it can be cleaned out by pretty much everything. It has 8% health. Battlecopter, tank, bike, and mech. Battlecopter does get shot down in melee range of the artillery. Tank can engage the anti-air though. We're now leads behind 95 versus 82. He has 24,000 income. He could go for a full bomber this turn. Anti-air, tank. We do have an anti-air now in the field. Infantry unit gets struck, hits the anti-air. Anti-air does not get knocked out there. Does now. Bike goes down. Tank hits tank. Battlecopter, tank, artillery, and flare. So triple battlecopter right now for Judy. Lee's bike here is at full 60 energy. He has the superpower available for +2 movement range. Bike is of course half health, so very vulnerable. But I don't think anything can range it. And +2 movement range could be very nice. Flare maybe should have been pushed over here to fire off a flare in this region, because right now it's not in position to fire off a flare to support a blitz. And the blitz would allow him to reach pretty far. Judy's right now at 25,000. She can too afford a bomber and triple infantry along with it. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and tank. Takes out the infantry unit there. So no CO power this turn. Does put the flare. Nothing in range of the artillery at the moment. This flare could get some good spotting, but could also be picked off there. Lee has quite a force here, but I already overrun this entire flank. Maybe Lee needs some recons, something that's a little bit more mobile for spotting rather than trying to use flares, because right now he only has tanks for spotting, which they have decent spot rate, but not perfect. Flare does get shot up. Medium tank, tank, and tank. Pops superpower there. Infantry sprints his way forward, takes off one infantry there. Bike finds bike. Tank does do a good recon pass. Battlecopter engages bike. It stops the capture. Bike gets picked off there in range of a tank. Tank hits tank. Tank hits tank again. Does spot tank. Battlecopter hits a tank. Artillery gets hit by a tank. Capturing some properties. Join capture. Artillery pushes way forward. Artillery range of artillery, but the artillery is only at 3 health. Tank does hit tank. A-tier, flare, bike, and battlecopter. Battlecopter hits tank. Of course, Lee does have +10/+10 global. Primarily +10% defense global. Judy does get a decent amount of salvage there. Pushing up her funds right now to 30,000. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Tank can finish off tank. There's nothing in the region to stop this battlecopter. No anti-air. Her battlecopter just simply went to the other flank to via fire support, and right now being very effective at that. 148 versus 122, so Lee is behind about a full turn. Hits the CO battlecopter twice. Artillery hits tank. Tank hits tank. Maybe we'll finish off. Yep, finish off CO battlecopter. Hits tank. Hits flare, knocks it out. 1 health tank could go down. Infantry hits infantry twice. Tank hits tank, and tank hits tank again. This tank is actually low on ammo. 2 ammo remaining. Does the mech on top of the mountainside. But the Alpine troop, of course, can take a bit of a beating for defense stars. Flare, battlecopter, anti-air, and bike. CO's a tank on this flank. You want to pull your CO tank for Judy on where all the targets are, since hers is more combat focus. Again, most COs have a combat focus. But she wants to hit as many targets as possible to get salvage. She's already covered more than her value deploying the CO unit, 25,000 versus 23,000 income. Battlecopter, tank, anti-air, and infantry. Tank hits anti-air, anti-air hits battlecopter, tank finish off anti-air. Tank hits artillery, the other tank hits artillery, leaving it down to 1 ammo. And the artillery does push its way forward, help provide coverage for those tanks. Battlecopter, tank, and bike. 1 health tank, finish off the 1 health anti-air. CO tanks push way forward, get some spotting. Spots a 9 health infantry and a full health infantry. Hits the mech and infantry units there, getting good decent amount of salvager, but nothing too crazy. All the targets are pretty low value. Looks like she will end her turn with approximately 150,000 available to her versus 103. Lee is still pretty far behind. His CO powers up to 25, make the 35 energy now, gain +1 raise, help support out the, well, assaults. T-copter ready to pick up the mech. Battlecopter, mech, tank, and anti-air. Does get trapped there. Hits the infantry unit twice. Hits the battlecopter. Tank hits anti-air. Tank hits tank. Medium tank does the infantry unit there. Does finish artillery before it gets shelled, the medium tank. Battlecopter does hit battlecopter. Lee's at 47 energy at the moment. And he's taking a lot of good hits. Judy right now really wish she was playing Andy with the amount of 1 health tanks on the field. Does finish off the 1 health tank, finish off 1 health tank, hits the 8 health tank, hits the 3 health infantry, hits the 1 health tank, hits the 2-4 battlecopter down, hits the last, oh, goes for a CO power mid-turn. Takes out the battlecopter there, tank hits tank. Tank, bike, and battlecopter. Hits the bike. Tank hits the tank as well. That was like a shot against a battlecopter, the command tank. But this area, if flank is going to be pretty hit by these battlecopters. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Does finish off the 3 off battlecopter. 2 off battlecopter does not push forward. Does not take a shot against the veteran tank on top of the city. We're going to see an anti-air over here. Anti-air tank. Got a good decent. Drew's been pulling out a decent number of battlecopters. Tank hits tank. Artillery advances to the forwards, hits the anti-air, hits the battlecopter there. Medium tank does take a shot against the battlecopter. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and bike. One of battlecopter spots the artillery. Getting some good shots there. Hits the CO tank there. Hits the CO, finish off the CO tank. Hits that bike there. I thought this artillery was going to get hit by one of these units. Tank hits tank. Tank finish off tank. Artillery range of the artillery. Tank, anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. Hits battlecopter, hits the battlecopter, knocks out third battlecopter, which that third one only had 1 health, but still. Fourth battlecopter goes down, it also had 1 health. Artillery stays in range. The artillery does get hit by a bike. Right now the values are a bit more evened out. 128 versus 94, still behind about a full turn. Has 20,000 income for 22. Needs a little bit more energy. No CO power this turn. Artillery does fall back. Couldn't get a spotting onto the other artillery unit. Tank, mech, and battlecopter. Could flip CO. Oh wait, the bike there got CO'd last turn. Getting some good picks there, getting a decent amount of salvage. Artillery is in range of this tank, so it could be shown. We've also got a 9 health tank here. Anti-air may not be able to hit that battlecopter, but with a CO power could. It is possible for Lee to get a CO power. Has a CO power available. No CO power deployed this turn. Picks off a bike. Another battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Takes the battlecopter there, hits the mech. Hits the tank. Tank, anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. No CO power this turn as well. T-copter's actually getting a bit low on fuel, down to 22. Battlecopter, tank, and bike. Right now, Purple doesn't see a single unit, does she? Maybe the gunboat, because I think that is not hidden there. But she actually doesn't see a single unit at the moment. Infantry, tank, bike, and battlecopter. CO bike does fall back there. Rocket, artillery, and anti-air. Flare, spot some stuff. Both players just stockpiling good force. Bike, mech, tank, and battlecopter. 184 versus 168, so about one turn behind, but he does have superior economy, so his income will gradually even out. The longer the game goes on, better than Lee will probably be at. And with his CEO power available, he can go a bit more heavy in mechs as well, because at any moment they could just sprint across the land. Battlecopter, mech, tank, and anti-air. Oh, stuff was getting weighted. No wonder I was confused. Like, well, is it stuck? Nope, stuff was getting weighted. You monster. Battlecopter, anti-air, mech, and bike. So both players just sort of setting up, and since Lee has superpower, not only that I was saying mechs can spread across the land, but everything can just blitz his way forward, so he's able to connect far more easily. Judy could withstand quite a bit of his counterattack, honestly, thanks to salvage. If Lee attacks first, her counterattack will result in quite a bit extra fundings for strong reinforcements. Maybe delete the gunboat and put something a bit more valuable available. Yeah, maybe delete the gunboat to make sure there's a tank on top of the HQ when needed. Battlecopter, rig, mech, and tank. Mech, tank, and duster. Units being weighted, you monster. Reach down, grab another drink. After all, there's not much left for me to say of people pushing, sort of setting up. Judy did push forward a couple units to capture some cities. Wouldn't easily get picked off. Tank pushed a bit far forward and hits a mech. Tanks did push pretty far forward, however, they do have artillery cover. Rock can help protect this flank as well, so even if a couple of these things start taking some hits, there is artillery to punish it, not to mention mechs in reserve. Maybe a little bit overextending, but maybe not. Could be adequate bait. Bomber, artillery, infantry, and bike. The bomber can easily get his way forward. We do have the human mechapede starting being established up here, or over there. Finish off some tanks there. Battlecopter hits tank. No missiles to intercept these battlecopters. Anti-air gets strikes the artillery. The artillery gets struck there. Judy's pushed way forward. No salvage this region. It could be a good idea to be defensive this region. Let the leader push forward with his superpower and wait for the counterattack. There's a very healthy number of battlecopters this region. Only one anti-air. The triple battlecopters can contest with all these other battlecopters. Pepper Airport's probably a good idea. Battlecopter, bike, mech, and anti-air. Pop superpower. Tank blitz over to the left. Anti-air strikes battlecopter. Tank hits anti-air. Artillery advances to the city. Takes out tank. Another tank goes down. Battlecopter straight forward. Mech blitzes his way forward. Hits the anti-air. This mech could have pushed forward earlier. Maybe there's some bad pathing. Mechs probably should be pushed first than the battlecopters and tanks, as they have shorter movement range. Bomber flies his way forward. And Lee does not be aggressive in this flank. He is concentrating more force over here, so that is a good idea. Mech hits tank. Hits the infantry twice. Mech, battlecopter, bike, and anti-air. And serve a 222 versus 269. So Lee has quite the advantage. I've mentioned the income advantage as well. Does get some good shots there. Oh, don't worry about the fail to connect. Probably something on my side. Another bomber pushes way forward. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and anti-air. Judy's right now not being aggressive. The long game goes on. The better Lee will be off. Right now he only has 9 energy right now for his seal power, but has a significant value advantage by about 2 turns. Lee is once again making some small adjustments. Battlecopter, mech, rocket, and infantry. Mech, tank, battlecopter, and recon. I have no idea what to comment during the big, when it comes to these stall fests right now. The game was going very aggressive, and then it got a bit stally, and then we got extra stall with all the waiting for all the units to be done. Does delete the gunboat, so the gunboat's now sunk to the bottom of the HQ. Interior mech tank. Another duster point field. Maybe you could try slow pushing with some of the rockets. Try to start slowly picking stuff off. Out of battlecopters in the field. Lee, if he would have actually spotted all the battlecopters, he really should have gone for a missile. Does get a rig on the field as it was a flare. Made the flare reveal all the battlecopters, then he would probably. Right now, he could go for double double missile would be a good idea. Does pick up the tank there, hits the rocket, hits the bike, so those got the big engagement here. Gain some decent salvage. Hits off another tank there, hits the mech. And there's a good chance Judy will just outright disintegrate next turn, since all of Lee's units be in range. Good chance he gets a superpower next turn. Well, not deploys it is another matter. In fact, he probably should try prioritize getting the superpower going, so he can perhaps then allow all his flanks collapse on in. A bit of elastic defense, if you will. Line breaking? No, I think the lines are pretty still well established. Battlecopter A-tier, mech and A-tier. Does get some power charge going. 41s gets +1 raise, hits the A-tier. Finish off that unit there. 51 energy. 55. And there's a CO power. Now allow this entire flank to collapse on onto this side here. As I mentioned, allow him to rotate the inner flank to more precise units, like if an anti-air needs to get a little bit forward in one direction or another. Bomber takes out the bike there, battlecopter hits bike. Yeah, the purple line is gone. The human mecha P is still going, but not so strong. CO unit could be struck. Max Efficiency medium tank has gone down. Hits another battlecopter. And it looks like this property may get flipped up. The infantry unit there can gauge it. Oh, the battlecopter does. T-copter's down to 24 fuel. Battlecopter war tank anti-air and infantry. Duty's down to 177 versus 344 at the moment. Granted, a lot of stuff in range of CO zone to get some power charge going. Or not power charge, salvage. Getting as much damage done to get her more powerful reinforcements going. Right now, a full fighter wouldn't be half bad. Dusters wouldn't be half bad. Because still another bomber and dust to deal with, so yeah, I think she should go for a full fighter now. He's a good hit there, so those strike the other bomber, so maybe dusters would be adequate. Got 40,000 salvage, so she effectively got about what 20 or 18,000 salvage, so she could get a free fighter. Tank, anti-air, tank, and duster. And it's turned to 102 versus 158. He has 7 energy right now. Probably should get this CO bike pushed forward. And good enough battlecopters. Bombers finish off the anti-air. Temporary airport could be established. which then 2 bombers could join, get a bit of repairs, and be good to go, or at least 1 full health bomber. Good hits there. Good number of mechs here. Nice bit of resupplies there on the dusters. True, with mounted targets, anti-air plus duster is a good idea. Also remember, fighters in Tiny Wars, and I think Days Ruined entirely, is 18,000 rather than 20,000. They got, a lot of stuff got cost reductions, so bombers are now 20,000, fighters are 18. Takes out the tank. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and bike. Flare goes down. Does get that unit there. Rig goes down, that was CO'd. Leaves up to 41 energy right now. Hits the artillery. Artillery goes down. Artillery goes down. Trying to capture the HQ. 5 health, so it'll take a bit of time. Leaves right now at 264 versus 104. Now 101. So Judy's lost nearly her entire army. She does not have much remaining. Now at 87. I called the numbers a little bit too early. Something tells me Judy's probably going to surrender at the start of this next turn. Medium tank infantry. Or battlecopter and infantry. And Judy does resign there. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Next one I have is this one right here. Greetings everyone, Angrade here for another Advanced Wars Days Ruined Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the north side as the magenta penny. We got red 1521. Spawn on the south side as the red Judy. We got Rocky 190. When it comes to the COs, of course, Penny is buffed from the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units are unaffected by weather. Units in CO zone gets plus 15, plus 10%. And does randomly apply 3 random weather for 3 turns. When it comes for Judy, Judy's course is a custom CO, reduced boarding cost 30%, 3 radius, 0 expansion, 0 energy. All units get plus 20% offense, plus 10% defense, and you get 30% salvage. Oops, sorry, I have a microphone. Either way, let's get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, a pair of seaports. Sea units are occasionally useful in combat, and those most times just gunboat, occasionally landers, sometimes battleships, sometimes aircraft carrier. But those are more uncommon to rare. Infantry, infantry. Another pair of infantry. Of course, it's early in the game, so it's just infantry. Judy now has 5,000 money, so she can forward 3 infantry next turn. This the third base just got captured now. Infantry bike. Infantry, infantry, infantry. Penny has 5,000 money. She can also go for triple infantry next turn. Judy next turn has 6,000. So she as was 5,000 left over, so she can go for bike double infantry. I think actually no, maybe double bike. Let's see, yeah, she can go for double bike next turn. This turn. Oh, recon. Recon bike commits a base skip. I was not expecting recon. Is she going to seal the recon and try to recon rush this general region? After all, you only start off with gunboats, so you don't have to fight infantry. There's a good chance you won't be fighting against mechs, so a seal recon could start getting some early salvage. Seal recon, that might be what's happening. Going for the comm tower there, so this comm tower is nowhere being close to being touched. The recon? So we got a double recon? That's interesting. Judy right now does a nice even 800 funds left over. Penny right now has 9,000 monies in the bank, so could go for tank infantry. Recon, bike, and bike. Infantry, tank, and infantry. That tank will probably be CO'd next turn. Judy has claimed this comm tower. She could actually claim this comm tower as well. I do believe these players are relatively lower rank than usually like the higher level players I tend to grab. In which I notice a lot of higher level players tend to get this comm tower pretty early and send infantry to these cities relatively early as well. None of these players have done that. Definitely going for a bit more safe than aggressive approach. I guess the more experienced players, they know how much more they can get away with in the initial capture game. Likely this infantry unit will be capturing this city next turn. Recon does spot this gunboat there, so probably it's a good idea there's an infantry unit here, here, definitely not there. And nobody got thrown out to sea. Battlecopter, tank, commits double base skip. Both players are capturing up the temporary seaport. As we all know, that's not super important. Those give you a nice little vision and a hiding spot that is a one-way hiding spot. But something that could be skipped going straight for the triple cities. Of course, the recon here. CO tank's trying to rotate around, hit that tank. Battlecopter, bike, and infantry. Tank hitting down this side of the map. Recon takes a shot there, in range of the tank. Of course, with as forecast vision, picks off infantry unit in one shot. Anti-air, anti-air, and infantry. Welcome sending anti-air air both directions. At least 2 out of 3 directions. That infantry unit gets struck, bike gets struck, but of course has a city support. Full health infantry nearby, and this infantry nearby provides some fire support as well. It does get trapped. 10 energy for Penny. Battlecopter heading down south. Does not probably saw the tank there enter the forest if she's paying close enough attention. Does not have access to see that battlecopter. It's an infantry unit there, very nice. Killed off 2 infantry units there, which 30% times 2. Let's see, 30% of 15 is 450 times 2, so 900 funds worth of value salvaged. I mentioned picking off 2 infantry units. Battlecopter, or battlecopter, bike, and infantry. Hits the infantry unit there. Tank does hit the recon. Tank, bike, and battlecopter. And right now she does have plus 5% firepower and now plus 10% global. Both comp powers now captured. I am curious about something. Deals 56 damage there with at half health. Nothing to stop the battlecopter up north. Nice little pick there. Get a tiny bit of salvage. Tank, anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. Go and sneeze. Excuse me. Right now it's 27 versus 23 properties. Judy's doing much better in the capture game. Anti-air, infantry, anti-air. It's the command tank there. And now Penny's at 21 energy, decent amount of power charge going. Interrupting another capture. Penny should be able to capture that property. Trying to flip a property there. It's that unit. Anti-air, medium tank, battlecopter. It commits another base skip, 35 units for 29. Recon does go down, bike goes down, bike gets hit again, leaving at 2% health. The power of double comm tower. More power charge for Penny, 39 energy. Interrupts our own capture here. Battlecopter, tank. That's a lot of deployment there. She must have saved us some money. I wasn't paying attention to how much money she had in the bank. That is 30,000 deployment. CO's the medium tank. That's unusual. Tank hits tank. Infantry unit does go down. Gunboat gets struck. course, tank engage tank. Tank, and infantry. Good pick there. She can get her superpower this turn. Does not. Redeploys a lot of stuff on top of properties. In fact, that city is probably a bad one because this tank is in range. Of course, it's of our caster vision. But this tank could go down next turn. The tank probably should head down here with all these conflicts to get some power charge. Judy sells both comm towers. Recon, battlecopter, bike. Does get trapped there, finish off the bike. Tank hits anti-air. Anti-air could probably hit the anti-air. Battlecopter hits infantry, battlecopter hits bike, infantry hits infantry, anti-air hits infantry, tank hits tank. Artillery does strike the bike there. Judy has nice even 30,000 income versus 24,000. We still got some properties still despicably neutral, like this city here and this city here, but this one should be flipped next turn. And the tank there does get spotted at the wrong moment. Last moment. Battlecopter, tank does go down, anti-air hits infantry. Maybe we could have moved down south to get some power charge there. She's very close to superpower. And honestly, it's probably best, yeah, the tank just were to run. 6 health is a little bit low, 8 health is adequate. And looks like Penny's starting to claim this area, but still needs more infantry down here. Maybe a gunboat load of some infantry can be tasked down south. Pulls a gunboat off the seaport and won't get as many repairs and don't really want to use it at the moment. Anti-air strikes the battlecopter and gets some salvage from it. Join captures. Hits the bike there, hits the bike there, hits the bike as well. Bike goes down. Penny's taking a decent number of losses. And she has the capability of pulling out her superpower next turn. Sand and snow seems best. Rain can be played around with, though no flares on the map, so rain will also be very useful. I don't think any of the weather will be bad right now. Go ahead and take a guess what it will be. I'm guessing it's going to be snow. The CO unit does push its way forward, so no CO power deployed this turn. Hits the battlecopter. Penny's a superpower you want to deploy as quickly as possible, since it provides so much more momentum. Because it's basically 3 turns of superpower, particularly the sand, because having your opponent lose 30% firepower for 3 turns is massive. Other than the first turn, you got your entire force of Global League gets plus 10% defense. So if the first turn's horrible, then the next 2 are unbearable. Anti-air hits anti-air. Battlecopter does strike the CO tank, but I don't think they anything to range it. Fall back and pop superpower. Maybe fall back to the city there. Judy will end that has 32,000 in the bank with another 157 in the field, so we're looking at what? 190 versus 116. Judy has a clear advantage. Got a bomber, rockets, tanks. Snow. This will give Penny a bit of time to reorganize, able to keep the higher mobility for 3 turns. These rockets be slow going. Yeah, the snow actually may have been a bit more painful than expected because these rockets are now even slower. tank, and artillery. So yeah, I think snow is actually very good. Anti-air does finish off anti-air. Gunboat goes down. Bomber nukes the bike, leaving this last property despicably neutral. Infantry, medium tank, anti-air, and battlecopter. All snow and painful, great. Judy still has maintained both comm towers this entire game. Such a powerful advantage because of that. Bomber should be spotted. Now, if anything can take it on is another matter, because I see no anti-airs in the region. This one time, you know, I was going to say aircraft carrier to plus seaplane, but that's too slow, or not enough money for this turn. Double anti-air bike. I don't think there's any way that Penny's command tank can go down this turn. Fighter does take out the meteorite. Anti-air, infantry, and a full fighter. Interrupts the capture. Keeps the CO tank in the force to keep it hidden. Does spot the CO medium tank. Got a fighter there for intercept. Bike, and recon. Battlecopter does take some hits there. Bombers can go in for a sortie. Takes out tank, nothing to retaliate nearby. Takes out another unit there. Ready to rig the game. Missile, the missile knows where it's at, or knows where it's not. And tank. And T-copter. Medium tank strikes medium tank, and tank hits tank, or medium tank goes down. Medium tank strikes the tank down south, trying to capture that comm tower once again, but however, now there's artillery coverage under that comm tower. Did I say artillery? I mean rocket. Either way, indirects. Anti-air, tank, and bike. Medium tank does go down. Battlecopter goes down. Tank gets hit, tank gets hit. Tank goes down. Rocket hits the bike, bike gets hit again, and tank hits medium tank, tank hits medium tank, tank hits medium tank. Yep, it's not looking good for Penny at the moment. Judy has now twice the amount of value in the field, 238 versus 114. Anti-air does strike the max out veteran seat bomber. Hit some of those units there. Bike, tank, and bike. Tank does get struck, tank gets struck, bomber hits the tank and goes down, hits the tank there, hits the anti-air. Missile, tank, battlecopter, and bike. Bomber gets knocked out. Fighter takes up battlecopter. Artillery hits tank. Tank hits tank. Tank hits tank again. And trying to flip this comm tower this time around. Can be interrupted by this infantry unit there. And the fall of battlecopter was just out of range. Got a battleship. Battleships and rockets do have the same range. And it's more like the rocket will strike the battleship this time around due to the fact that there's plenty of hiding spots and the battleship can't see in those hiding spots. Do have a temporary airport now established. Fighter hits fighter. With plenty of anti-airs engage the fighter, but with that 4 health fighter down well to 4 health, not much it can do now. Tank, and rocket. Anti-air strikes fighter. Fighter finished off fighter. Battleship strikes the medium tank. Medium tank, and bike. Rocket pushes forward, tank pushes forward. This prop is still despicably neutral. Bike, medium tank, anti-air. Anti-air to strike the battlecopter. Capture the comm tower. So finally, Penny finally has a comm tower. A little bit late, honestly. Tank, bike. Medium tank does strike the anti-air. Battlecopter interrupts the capture. Anti-air does take out bike. Tank hits the anti-air. Tank hits tank. Got a 9, soon to be 9 health tank here. Artillery push way forward, providing coverage, but not too good at coverage. Rocket providing much better coverage. 20 fuel remaining, so it's burned most of its fuel. Rocket advances to the comm tower, hits the infantry unit there. Does not spot the tank here. The bike could push forward and spot the tank to get a first strike. Rocket only has limited coverage. So I think the tank hits a good first strike there. So these two tanks over here. The medium tank, infantry, and infantry. Keeping 16,000 monies in the bank. Maybe I'm for a bomber. And looks like I got a spam bot. Let me delete that. Artillery, tank, and tank. Tank hits tank, tank hits tank. Does get some good picks there, triple picks. A lot of good hits up there. Judy getting decent amount of salvage right now. 43,000 in the bank. Goes for a full bomber, could afford 2 bombers. Anti-air, and tank. Fighter falling back, low in health and fuel, 25 fuel remaining. Rock is out of range if the battleship did have vision of it. Battleship down 2 ammo, medium tank, tank, and tank. And Jude does resign right there. This and grade saying thank you for watching and on to the next replay. Before I get started next replay, I do need to use the restroom. Please give me a moment. Apologies, I'm back. Probably have time for one last replay for tonight. Let's see. My next one is, let's have my list. There's this one. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn north side is the red gate. We got I love apples. Exit out. Spawn bottom right side is the blue quarter. We got Greyfield guy. Becomes the CO's gauge courseman buff, and the car's counterpart has standard boarding cost 2 radius 36 to 60. All units get plus 10, plus 20%. Indirect units and naval units get additional plus 20% offense, and the CO unit himself gets additional plus 20% offense. Oops. For superpower, of course, apply that all globally, and of course, get plus 2 maximum range. When it comes to Calder, he's been nerfed for the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 0 expansion, 0 energy. And all units get additional plus 25, and 2 health recovery per turn. So let's get started. So that means this free recon that starts weighted monster can be recovered by the Calder CO Zone, but of course we still need a bit of a resupply. Just infantry, of course, is nice and early. Bike infantry. Infantry and infantry. A prototype caller? I suppose that would make a good explanation. Infantry bike. Of course, 3 bases. Oh, he has 10,000 funds in the bank, so he could go for a tank and double infantry. Maybe this one's artillery. Okay, interesting. 12,000 monies in the bank. He can go for a tank. And he goes for artillery as well. 11,000 for Greyfield. Not Greyfield, Calder. Greyfield guy. I'm gonna get that mixed up way too much, aren't I? Artillery in range of the recon. It will be smashed in a moment. It could just be ignored. Tank, artillery, and infantry. CO's the tank there, takes a shot and shoots this meteorite twice, down to 10 health. You monster. I'm not sure what the real plan for destroy this meteorite. Maybe he's trying to send flood into a base in this direction. Might be the case. After all, this base will go around this way. This base, if it breaks this meteorite, will clear up both this plasma and this meteorite, which would allow him to maybe go for the comm tower? Both players will capture the comm tower. I guess maybe not anymore. Oh, Antier finishes off, so that path is now open. Huh, there's no burnt effect on where the whatchamacallit, plasma was. I guess it's something on the campaign head. After all, they did have scorch marks for silos, plasma, and the Great Owl. And Missile Silos is not exactly something that's available multiplayer. Huh, didn't like Tabata's Firestorm also cause scorch marks on the map? I think it may have did. Battlecopter. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing more battle damage on the map in Advanced Wars. After a lot of RTSs have that aspect as well, but that's a bit more of a gameplay mechanic. It could just at least be a bit more visual effect. Mech, T-Copter, Anti-Air, and Bike. Another T-copter. Tank, infantry, and artillery. Right now, the map's gone. Has been no man's land being created in this diagonal. Looks like the recon here will be resupplied. Of course, will cost some monies. 4,000 divided or times by 0.2. What, 1,600? No. 400. It'll cost 400 funds to repair this. He does have 500 funds in the bank, so he has enough. So should be at 100 or 700. Let's. My math is completely incorrect. Joins the two recons together, so got all those monies back. Actually, he didn't. See, still 700. Did not provide any refunds? Am I crazy? I might be going a bit crazy. We do not have a Duster mech. Infantry, artillery, and tank. Of course, we do have a bomber. Duster, of course, a little bit far away. Nothing to counter the Duster. So this Duster can just go straight for the bomber. There's only infantry as blockers. Anti-air is way over here. The Duster just simply can charge for him. So he's going to go for anti-air here with the Duster here. Could if going for anti-air would provide some protection for the bomber. Help zone up the Duster. Does hit that bike there. Out of range of the Duster or anti-air. Very nice. Another battlecopter. Seals the tank there, nukes the meteorite there. Let's see, in order for that bomber to be hit, gotta go through a good number of infantry or go through artillery or the tank here. Which none that seems possible at the moment. Artillery is out of range of the anti-air. Anti-air, battlecopter, mech, and infantry. Duster does strike the infantry unit. Got some artillery pieces rotating around. Probably could have pushed up one tile farther forward. Infantry on top. I suppose the infantry on the bridge would be a bit vulnerable. Infantry on top of the bridge on C. Battlecopter does strike the infantry unit up here, and the anti-air is out of range. And this is, of course, the capturing squad. And this area could just straight up be denied if he parks the bomber or the battlecopter over here. And all it needs to do is protect these properties, both these properties, for a handful of turns. It will pay for itself. Honestly, 4.5 turns to deny the capture of this region would pay for itself. We do have another battlecopter in the region. Not in range though, so the battlecopter could just simply stay here. Battlecopter would not want to push forward here. The 4F infantry will be able to capture one property, but not the other property with this battlecopter ruffling right there. And not to mention it'll take a lot of extra turns here. Yeah, I think the damage is already done up here. In order to drop off another infantry unit over in this region, he may need to delete this infantry unit there because he won't be able to pick it up and drop off infantry at the same time. So yeah, the damage is pretty much already done up there, having the battlecopter slip in like that. Another tanks over here. Duster trying to circle around, hit this bomber. Circling around like a vulture. Battlecopter heads down south, hit this tank. Anti-air can finish with the battlecopter, and if he does want to drop infantry in there, he needs to delete that 4 health infantry. It's probably a good idea to delete that 4 health infantry into there. Gage now has a superpower available. Deletes the 4 health infantry unit there. It's the best course of action. It will take another 3 more turns to capture 1 property, or he can take 3 turns to capture that same property and have a full health infantry left over. Anti-air does strike the bomber, which is very important. Duster hits tank. Gotta be careful, these artillery pieces came in +2 range. It will range them pretty far. Tanks have to fall back to like here and here. Of course, these artillery pieces will be in range. They won't get additional firepower bonuses if he pops the superpower since they're already in the CO zone. Yep, everything's out of range for the artillery here, so it's probably a good idea not to pop a superpower in this region. Rocket will be out of range with the superpower artillery as well, so it's not a good turn to pop the superpower. Excuse me. Hits the Duster there. Mech hits tank. CO tank hits tank. Anti-air strikes battlecopter. Bomber strikes tank. Looks like Duster will be able to finish the bomber next turn. It may be a good idea to slow push these artillery, just start pushing them forward so they maintain protection, but also able to range with the extra range. Anti-air artillery mech does strike the anti-air there. Hits the bomber. Bomber's down to 4% health. Another tank hits the artillery. Tank battlecopter. Here's push way forward. And this time these tanks will be shelled by the artillery. Yep, now it's probably good idea to pop the superpower. This one only can range infantry, but the superpower can range this tank there, and this tank could be double tapped because of that. Over here, I suppose this artillery can soften up some other target, but still. Looks like he's not going to go for the superpower, just going to go for outlying targets, which is probably not a bad idea either. Getting some good hits there. Finish off that tank. Artillery can fall back to the city. T-copter for a bit of a blocker. Bomber would be shot down next turn, which he pulled back too many units. This infantry unit needs to get to this tile here, because this bomber will be shot down. Nope. Now the artillery is exposed, and this tank can just simply cruise on in, among other things. So the rocket was already in range infantry unit. Probably would have one-shot infantry units either way. Strafes the infantry unit there. Finish off the infantry unit. CO tank hits the artillery and hits the medium tank. Hits the artillery. tank. One health bomber strikes the tank. Pops superpower. Takes out a CO unit there. Strikes this infantry. Mech hits the tank. Anti-air strikes the bomber. Battlecopter hits tank. Mech hits anti-air. Infantry hits anti-air. Bike hits anti-air. Hits the duster. Hits the artillery. One of artillery can strike something. Flips the city there, up to 21,000 versus 26,000. Artillery strikes artillery, not doing much damage, 8% approximately. Hits the bike twice. Hits the anti-air, hits the artillery, hits the artillery. Duster does finish off the bomber finally. Down to 5 health, 27 fuel, 2 ammos. CO tank here, which could partially stay on this force and provide some good coverage, though a lot of these artillery units are very wounded. The 2 1 healths could just merge them together. Hell, if you merge all 4 of those artillery, he gets 1 full health artillery. We have a clean sweep over here. Mech hits the tank. Anti-air hits Duster. Hits the mech, hits the mech, hits the tank, hits the tank. Hits the tank as well, getting up to 25 energy. And now Calder CO tank is a little bit exposed and by itself. I'm not sure what's this game. Artillery battlecopter commits a base skip and infantry. Hits the anti-air twice. Hits the anti-air. Hey, honestly, the replays for this week was a little more slim pickings. There's not too many non-mirror matchup games that have decent length. So we've got two healthy tanks and a battlecopter over here. Hits the command tank here. Tank goes down. Shelling a good number of units there. 54 energy. That's a CO power available for Gauge. A lot of joins there. Not a bad idea. There's a lot of artillery that needs to be joined. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. I think Gauge wished he was playing Andy right now. CO's the tank on top of the HQ. Takes out this tank. This tank could be showed a lot of a CO power. Hits the medium tank for a good amount of damage. Medium tank gets hit again. Answer of 128 versus 106. Tank goes down, the CO tank could be CO next turn, and Calder does resign there. This Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last